Now, Rosie, I'm going to earn a couple of brownie points with you by cooking a dish that doesn't have any meat in it. Now, I'm going to make a pasta dish with fettuccine and walnuts and a whole lot of lovely ingredients. But to start with, we need to put the pasta in the water because it doesn't cook in the packet, does it? So I
missed that sound.
You like that, don't you? Now, what I've got is the fettuccine here, great fettuccine, and I've got my big pot of salted boiling water. Well, it's not salted yet because I'm about to put some salt in it.
But first, turn away.
Well, I was just going to do it like this. See how I put my hand like that and add the salt? And they say, how salty should it be? It should be as salty as a Mediterranean sea.
I want you to eat Mediterranean, he wants you to eat the sea.
There we go. So in goes the fettuccine. And the trick with the fettuccine, just for the first minute or so, or 30 seconds, you want to give it a bit of a stir around like this. There we go, Rosie. What I want to do is get you started. I've got some asparagus there.
Yep.
I want you to cut it quite small and on an angle. And what I've got here is some Cavalo Nero, which is some cabbage.
Yep.
Oh, you know,
lovely dark leafy greens. We want those to alkalise ourselves. We're all a bit too acidic, so that's beautiful.
Now, what you could do with the Cavalo Nero is pull the stem off it. Now, I'm just going to chop it up because I want something crunchy in there. If you're going to cook it, some people like to cook this part first, sweat it off with onion and garlic, and then add the leaves. I'm just going to throw the whole in together. But before we do that, I'm just going to smash some garlic and some onion with the side of my knife like this, and I'm going to leave it quite coarse. This is a bit of a chunky sort of dish, so we'll leave it quite coarse. And what I'm going to do is pop it into my pan. Now, my pan is just a little bit warm, and you can see I'll put the garlic straight in there like that, nice and chunky. I'll now turn on the pan, because one of the things I don't want to do is to burn the garlic or burn the oil, because the oil is the hero of this. And now I'm just going to slice the onion. What I'll do is I'll just take the core out of it, and I'll just, you know what, I'm going to slice it nice and fine, have a nice little dice all the way through. What I'll do is slice it like that, Rosie, and then cut it through the middle there like that. You can keep the core in it, but I'm just going to cut it all the way down to the end and have nice little tiny fine dice all the way through. Now you can see my pan's just starting to bubble up a little bit. The garlic will start to warm up in there, and you'll get that beautiful flavour of the oil and the garlic together.
The simple sautéed onion and garlic,
it's sort of like the base of every...
As soon as that olive oil hits,
it's like
fabulous.
The base of every single recipe that we make. Now, I'll give that a bit of a toss like that, and you can see it starting to bubble up. It is a good tip to warm it up slowly because you stay in control. And control is good in the kitchen, isn't it?
Control is good.
That's what I'll be doing this season, making sure I
very good.
keep control in the kitchen.
I've got a bit of a power play here.
We have it. This show is all about us cooking nice food for each other.
A united front.
Here we go. Now, what I'm going to get you to do, Rosie, is just chop the Cavalo Nero nice and fine like this. Now, if you don't have Cavalo Nero, you could always use some cabbage, some white cabbage, or wombok, which is nice and sweet. Now, you can see that starting to come together beautifully, and the onions are sweating down beautifully. I've got some salt in there already. I've got some pepper in there already, but I'm just going to turn a little bit more pepper over the top there till I can smell it. Once I start to smell the pepper, then I know I've got the right amount in there. Now, I'm just going to pop the cabbage, or the Cavalo Nero, which is Italian cabbage, into the pan it goes.
Posh kale.
Exactly. What I'm going to do is give it a bit of a toss like that, and you can see it starts to wilt down. If you can slide that asparagus over.
I certainly can.
And then, Rosie, what I want you to do is I've got some basil there, some mint and some parsley. Give it a bit of a pick and give me a nice big pile of it, because I'm going to fold that through at the end. You can see the cabbage is starting to wilt down nice, and it doesn't take very long. And then in goes the asparagus. It looks gorgeous like that, doesn't it?
Does look
nice and green and tasty.
There's so much green. I must say that I didn't think I'd come off my annual leave and find that in front of me.
Well, you start off with good, healthy stuff, and then you can always give yourself a nice, sweet treat at the end. Now, I'm going to put some peas in there as well. Now, some seeds there. I've got some pumpkin seeds, or pepitas. These are going straight in here. Now, walnuts, I'm going to pop these in here. What I do is just crunch them up with my hands so they break up and go all the way through it.
Just gorgeous they are. Really
I love using walnuts because where my grandfather comes from in the north of Italy, they grew a lot of walnuts. So he would always have plenty of walnuts, and they would use it in just about every single dish. Making a dish like this with the walnuts is something my grandfather would have done.
Cooking should make you have a warm feeling like that, shouldn't it?
It does make you warm and fuzzy. Now, I've got some cranberries here, some dried cranberries, and this is an example of adding something a little bit sweet to a dish like this, just to pick it up. Now, I've used currants and raisins with silver beet because I find the slight bitterness of that sort of vegetable is offset by the sweetness. And I think with the Cavalo Nero, a little bit of cranberry in there helps to sweeten it up a little bit. Now, this is simmering along nicely, and this is the stage I like to make it luscious. I've got the beautiful flavour of the extra virgin olive oil, but I just add a tiny bit of butter to that, just to the side here, and this is going to melt down. I'll just stir that around a little bit and let this just cook down for a minute or so. My pasta's got about 2 minutes to go. I'll put all this together with the fresh herbs, and we'll do some lovely pasta. Listen to that sizzle, Rosie.
I can.
Coming together beautifully. Now what I'm going to do is take the pasta out, pull out your pasta into the pan here like this, and I'm using a little bit of the water from the actual pot here, which helps to give it a lovely shine. There we go. I love using a pair of tongs like that. Now I'll turn that off and I'll add some salt. Salt loves pasta and pasta loves salt. They go together so well.
A new T-shirt.
Exactly, a new T-shirt, new slogan, and some pepper in there. I do like to season the pasta when it comes out of the pan. Another thing I like to do is to grab some fresh herbs, pop them straight in here. And when you've got a lot of herbs like this, what I'll do is use some tongs at the start just to pick it up and put it on top.
Wilt it down naturally, lovely.
And then what I'll do is with my hand here, hopefully I won't make too much mess here, just give that a bit of a toss around. You might want to use a wooden spoon for this one. Look at that. Now, can you grab that microplane and put a little bit of lemon zest over the top of that?
Certainly can.
And I'll just mix that into the pasta. Look at that. You can smell it straight away. Now, the lemon zest is what I love. Just gives it some high notes, gives it a bit of zing. You could squeeze some lemon juice in there, but what you'll find if you squeeze the lemon juice in there is the acid from the lemon will make the green stuff go a little bit grey. So I like to just add the zest. Now, some pasta will go into the bottom here. How's that look?
Colour is nutrition.
I've got some feta there, if you want to grab that Danish feta there. Crumble it on top.
Okay.
Got some parmesan going on as well. I'll put the parmesan straight over your fingers like that. You like that?
Lovely.
A little bit of fun for
Back
me.
back to your own tricks again.
Here we go. Over the top there like that. That looks great. Now, just to finish it off, and this is something we do a lot, we have a little bit of extra virgin olive oil over the top like that to give it a bit of a shine, and I go up and down like that to make it look nice and pretty. And then
We try. Hey, I love you've made this dish as a first. Really impressed me.
I've got to score a couple of points at the start of the season, Rosie, because I've got some pretty meaty dishes coming up.
Oh, I've got all that greenery on there.
You've gone straight for the greenery. I've just loaded my fork up with the pasta. Walnut on the end there.
That could feed a whole family. Absolutely divine. That is really, really easy. Crunch of those walnuts. Lovely.
What a great way to start the season.